I'm not going to seriously question that. It doesn't matter uh, whether you consider yourself crazy or not, because that's just to keep humble. But you know what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying. And the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
the 16 years ago when you were in the trailer is like very important to know about.
From Sally. Okay.
No, from Molly.
Molly. Yes.
Or whoever you are, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So.
You would just have this thought kept coming to
Mm-hmm.
you, and you questioned it, and then you'd be like bed at night, or waking up, or taking a walk around the yard or down the road,
Yeah.
and it would come to you, right?
Like most teenagers do, in their little room with
In
their
their room.
lights and their little electric
Yeah,
guitars and their music,
yeah,
their
yeah,
cigarettes or whatever they're doing.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
you're around your room and just,
Mhm.
circulating through life. You're
Mhm.
dropping out, and this
Mhm.
like occurred to you.
Smoking ganja out of a potato
Yeah.
that I kept stuffed in a pillow.
But you did all the stuff that I was doing.
Yeah. And I can actually right now sink into like one specific time. Like I said, I recall the books across the room where I was studying paganism and witchcraft and the Necronomicon, which is the Book of the Dead.
But when you were studying all that stuff, what did you think about it? You're into like some really dark stuff.
Mhm.
Like dark and like black
I
magic,
knew that
evil people that, don't
I
want
knew
the
that it
goodness
freaked
of the
my
world.
mother out. Like I knew that much. I knew
I
that it
know,
freaked
but
my
what do you
mother
mean
out.
freak? What did you know about that stuff? You
Oh, she
studied it.
one day went in my room and threw all those books away. Like
Okay, but
just once.
when you had the books before she threw it away, what
Mhm.
were you getting out of it? What was the big deal?
Definitely the feminine. The feminine came from that. There was a very feminine energy that I was looking for. I think for
Uh,
me, that side was trying to find what a young girl would look for in her mother. Magic, ritual. There's ritual that creates energy and momentum into your life so that you wake up and you're not discombobulated, you know?
but even at that
Mm.
time that you were looking at that, so it still came to you that you had some really important role to fulfill in Christianity.
Yes.
What
I
was the understanding?
I just remember sitting there and I remember it sinking in. It was always there. I could just feel it sinking in. About 16 years old. And I knew that it was a feeling of God, Christ, who that is. They talk about Jesus. I'm hearing Jesus a lot at this point in my life from other older people and stuff. And for me, it's like, I'm actually trying to push them out of my life. So
Uh-huh,
Jesus is
uh-huh.
kind of connected with that. But in my deep little secretive room in my space, with
Yeah.
my little witchcraft books,
Uh-huh.
I could feel that Jesus had something to do with like this really beautiful part of survival. It was what kept me alive, like
Uh-huh.
time after time, and
Uh-huh.
and there was a protective energy from that, and it was very powerful. And I knew without a doubt that I was connected to that that army of light, that
Uh-huh.
that vibrance in the world that keeps that alive,
Yeah.
and that I knew that I was chosen as that, and there was
Would you call this, would you,
no way that I could avoid it. It was just my fate,
and
my
nobody
path.
was bringing it to you,
But it
not
was
these
like a
like,
blessing, but
not
it was
these
like something I
like
had to hide.
Christian like people that were trying to influence you. They weren't bringing this to you. This came from within you.
I ran from those people. I mean, those people, like, freaked me out. Like,
Yeah, they weren't like
yeah,
bringing Jesus to you.
no, no. And they were scared of my witchcraft books. So I had them all fooled. They're thinking, I'm like, oh, God, what's she do? She's reading those books, oh,
Reading
God,
those books.
Jesus, we got to pray for her even harder, Like, and they have no idea that, like, all along, I'm in my room and, like, it's all, like, just momentum around me spinning, and I'm perfectly safe within it all. And I knew that Jesus is not like a kinky love. I feel that's not, like, really about, like, that. It's deeper than that. It was more of a trust. I always had a trust, and the trust that had to come from within me. It couldn't come from anybody outside of me, and that trust was connected to, this Jesus and this godly figure. It was powerful, and all I had to do anytime I was scared or anytime I wondered in life was just ask that energy that I could center in with that. ask it a question.
Mm.
Just ask, and I would always receive a clear sign. And I knew that I was doing everything right. Didn't matter if I sought that God and that light through beating a drum, or burning a candle, or piercing my nose at that time.
The rituals.
Yeah,
Like
it
the
didn't matter. Like I
shamanistic
knew it was
rituals.
the same. Why did these people preach that all these things that I'm reading about are so bad, but yet I'm practicing and studying these things, and people would say I'm going straight to hell, but yet I feel God beaming down towards me, sending messages and light and protective love constantly.
Yeah. Well, they didn't know. They don't know. They're not the judge of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not. So they were just doing it because they only knew their way. Yeah. In name. They knew their way in name. Like they could call out the name. But, you know, there's different things here. Like you are much closer to the source of it.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Good. So we know verified. Like, would you call it? Would you use their prophecy to it?
Yeah,
Is it
that
a
used
prophecy?
to be a favorite word that I
So
had
you're a
about.
prophet then.
Prophet. Yeah, it was, a
You're
lot
a
of my early
prophet.
poetry revealed to me that I was having these like prophetic visions. That
Yeah.
And
Okay.
sometimes I wouldn't understand them. They'd spew out so fast, and I just
Yeah.
like even write in the dark sometimes. And like the
Okay.
next day, 3 days later, 10 years later, I read
Okay.
it,